G'day there, I'm cycling from the west coast of the US to the east coast. In this video, I'm pushing the pedals over the plains of Oklahoma from its capital, Oklahoma City, to Tulsa. Along the way I see so much: oil and gas installations, deserted properties, bright red barns, golden crops gleaming under the dark sky, and of course horses, which don't want to talk to me. In Oklahoma City, I went to the memorial for the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, an unimaginable act of domestic terrorism which destroyed an entire building and countless lives. The structures at either end of the memorial bear the times 9:01 and 9:03. The bomb went off at 9:02. The space between the structures has a shallow reflection pool and rows of chairs, one for each victim of the bombing. There is an elm tree which survived the blast and has become a symbol of resilience and strength. Seedlings of this tree have been sent all around the US to grow in yards and playgrounds, including on the White House lawn. I didn't take any footage inside the memorial. It would have felt too disrespectful, and I couldn't do such an event justice anyway. But what really struck me was the determination of the people to overcome this disaster and to focus on the positives wherever they could find them. These are some of the trials and tribulations, high points and joys of being a touring cyclist. Anyway, left this morning and rode 25 kilometres to on the way to the next campground. Found this beautiful path, trying to find my way how to get to the campground because I'm off the official bike route and I'm just going cross country. This bike path, beautiful though it is, doesn't actually go anywhere near the campground, so now I've got to work out how best to get to the campground. I saw a snake on the path, a live snake, the first live snake I've seen. I've seen many dead snakes, but this one was very much alive. I pulled up and stopped and turned around to take some footage and it was gone. So it was very much alive. Of course, the good part of that is it didn't try to attack me, it just disappeared into the undergrowth. So I've kept going and now I've found the path I have to take and not really sure if I want to take it, to be quite honest. Let's have a look. And there's my bike waiting patiently. And according to the map, if I want to get to the campground, I've got to find my way to the main road. And the way to the main road is along this. And it says multi-use trail. Not so sure how multi-use this trail is, but I'll try it. I mean, it's still very early in the afternoon. If I can't get through, I'll have to turn around and go back. That's all there is to it. We shall see. So I've been walking on this path and I can see other tyre tracks. So obviously other people have ridden or pushed their bikes along here. There are also some footprints, so there are signs of civilization. But the thing that makes me happy is I've got enough food for about 2 days. So, you know, if I get lost, I'll survive for at least 2 days. Whoa. When they say multi-use, I'm not sure if they mean that that is supposed to be multi-use because there's no way I'm crossing that creek. Like I said, there's no way I'm crossing this creek. So it looks like I'm going all the way back that I came, which is a real pain in the butt. Yeah, not good. However, it is a scenic route. Where else I look here, there's also water and there's gazillions of mosquitoes. So the positive thing is that creek was right at the start of this. At least I haven't put in miles and miles of effort to get around, to be stymied right at the end. That's something to be said for the whole experience. There are all sorts of oddities and icons and things to see on Route 66, and most of them relate to the actual route. So there are diners which have been in existence ever since, well, the route was established, and there are quite a few places which were iconic at the time and are falling down. And then there are these oddities which have got nothing to do with Route 66, but they're just here. Like this, a soda pop bottle. Okay, we have a soda pop bottle on the side of the road. And in here, apparently, are 500 different varieties of soda. So I'm going to go in and have a look and hopefully get some breakfast too. There are a lot of different varieties here. I have a coffee and I have breakfast potatoes and eggs and bacon and cheese on Texas toast. I had to ask what Texas toast is, but this is Texas toast. She wasn't quite sure what it is, but anyway, there you go. And here is another one of those oddities that I was just talking about. There's a round barn. And what's so special about a round barn? I have no idea, except it is the only perfectly round barn in all of the US, I believe, or maybe it's in all of Oklahoma, I don't know. It's not just a barn, it's a barn with a gift shop. Open daily from 10 till 5, free admission, but they need volunteers. Apparently it's historic, built in April 1898 by William Oder on his farm. And like I said, there's a gift shop, but it's not open yet because it's not 10 o'clock yet. So, this is the old Route 66 roadbed, and it had asphalt bordered by a concrete strip, which they don't do anymore. And I'm going to follow this old bit for a little way before it goes back onto the new Route 66. Eventually I came to this old ruin. It used to be a petrol station, was built about 100 years ago. It had two pumps, one for regular gas and one for ethyl, which was a little higher octane. Seeing there was no electricity out here at the time, and most homes and buildings were lit by kerosene lamps or lanterns, kerosene was dispensed from an old metal drum, put into your container which you brought with you, and then taken home again. Way back in the days when Al Capone was terrorising Chicago, a salesman came by the station and offered to sell the owners a way to make a lot of money, and basically by counterfeiting $10 bills. The people built a small room at the back of the station for the purpose of hiding their printing materials and as a place to work. The only entrance and exit was through a window that was on the back of the wall, and it had a solid wooden door which was kept closed most of the time, so most people didn't even know that there was a room back there. Yeah, and that's the story of this old ruin here, and counterfeiting 100 years ago. Well, here we are on the outskirts of Tulsa after 2,000 and something kilometres of cycling from San Diego to Oklahoma. Not counting the bit that I did on the train, I have eventually arrived. And on that bridge over there behind me, that bridge goes across the river, and my hotel for Tulsa is on the other side. So I'm looking around to see if I can find a coffee place, because it's only 3:30, and even though I can, and theoretically I can sign into the hotel, check into the hotel, not sure that I really want to get there yet. If I find a nice coffee shop, I'll stop. There was one just a bit further that way, but it was a drive-through one. I mean, what's the point of a coffee if you have to drive through to get it, and then there's nowhere to sit? I'd much rather find an actual cafe and have a coffee. But have a look at that building there, isn't that amazing? That's the First Oklahoma Bank. Yeah, but I don't think they'll have coffee, so it's probably not much point going there. Here we go again. Today is the very last day of stage 1 of my ride across America. I'm in Tulsa. I have to ride 17 kilometres to a gentleman who's a warm showers host, and he's agreed to store my bicycle for me and my camping gear for the next few months. Yeah, 17 kilometres, and of course it's raining outside, and I have to try and get everything dry to this man's place because I don't want everything going mouldy while I'm away. So we'll see how we go. This is what the weather looks like outside. Wet. Not really raining, just a little bit of drizzle, but very damp anyway, because it rained a lot overnight. And this is the room where I've spent the last 2 days trying to dry everything, clean everything and then dry it, because when I got here my tent was absolutely dripping wet from the morning dew from where I camped the night before. But everything's dry and everything's packed into those 2 panniers. And my backpack that I'll be taking with to Guatemala is in that pannier there, so I'll just have to take it out when I get to this man's place. That's my kitchen. There's no food left, so it's very lightweight. And that's the bag. The orange bag is the one I'm taking to Guatemala. And there's some stuff that I'll be wearing this morning in an effort to keep warm and dry. And there's my bike. And luckily it doesn't have a puncture at the moment, and let's hope that I do these 17 kilometres without a puncture. So there's the bike path. Sections for walkers and sections for cyclists. I'm invariably in the wrong lane, but that's okay, because there's hardly anybody here, because it's raining. Oh, there's a walker, runner, jogger, whatever, coming. There's my bike. Notice that the flag is now horizontal because somehow the flagpole got snapped and it's now too short. I can't use it vertically, but it works quite well on the horizontal like this because it's a big warning sign to cars coming up behind me that they need to give me space. And then here is one of those signs that I love all around the world, showing different directions to different places. So it's got China, Taiwan, Utsunomiya in Japan. They must be sister cities, because there's nothing in Australia. Russia, Israel, Tanzania, France, Mexico. Oh, Germany, Celle in Germany. Yeah, sister cities. Yeah, nothing Australian. And the last site of this video is the Museum Memorial in Black Wall Street in Greenwood, a suburb of Tulsa. The museum commemorates the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921, when white citizens rioted and caused the near-total destruction of the black community in Greenwood. At the time, Greenwood was a fully functioning, self-contained community with its own cafes, newspapers, clothes stores, bus line, restaurants, doctors, lawyers, churches and schools. With all this prosperity in the black community came white jealousy, racism, greed and the Ku Klux Klan. Tensions boiled over on May the 31st, 1921, and over a 16-hour period a white mob attacked, looted and destroyed the Greenwood district. Between 100 and 300 people were killed and hundreds others were wounded or displaced. Once again, there is no way that I can do justice to the museum or the events that it displayed. I can only stand in awe of the community's focus on justice and reconciliation and suggest that anyone who visits Tulsa should come and see this museum for themselves.